Former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon's estrangement from his wife Linda McMahon has become common knowledge in recent years, but their marriage was unusual well before that. When Linda Edwards and Vince McMahon tied the knot in 1966, she was just 17 and he was 21. They had known each other for 4 years, having met through their mothers.
Let's see, I think I was 13 years old, and Vince was
16.
Despite the age gap, their families were okay with the relationship. Vince had actually been drawn to Linda's parents. He told Cigar Aficionado in 2004, "I had no idea what a family was until I met Linda and saw how they lived." Vince's father abandoned him and his mother when Vince was a baby, so he was raised by his mother and her different partners, many of whom were abusive. The man whose last name Vince used in his youth, Leo Lupton, left a particularly deep wound. He told Playboy in 2001, "Lived with her and my real ass of a stepfather, a man who enjoyed kicking people around." By the time he was 14, Vince was essentially on his own. Emotionally, Vince craved the security and a sense of belonging he had been deprived of. Linda and her family gave him that. He said in the Cigar Aficionado interview, "It was an Ozzie and Harriet life. There wasn't screaming and beating. You see, I thought, there's something else. I wanted some of that stability and love, and then I wanted more of it." The whole McMahon family has been involved in WWE, both in front of and behind the cameras. Some of the storylines they've been involved in really pushed the envelope, too. In one, Vince passionately kissed Trish Stratus in front of Linda, who was, in storyline, in a comatose state. Sitting in a wheelchair, Linda just sat there watching her husband passionately kiss his employee. Linda didn't mind. It was part of a job she had fun doing. And she's been on the other side as well. In 2003, Linda filmed a kissing scene with Eric Bischoff. The whole thing was supervised by Vince. Bischoff called the experience surreal and awkward on his 83 Weeks podcast.
And it wasn't until I got there that I found out exactly what I was going to be doing. And I thought, oh, well, this is different, but let's give it a shot.
In 2000, Vince and Linda's daughter, Stephanie McMahon, got physical with her mother in front of the world. Linda told The Telegraph in 2002, "She definitely slapped me for real. It was painful. It was really very difficult." As of April 2024, Forbes estimated Vince McMahon's fortune to be $2.8 billion. Clearly, Vince, Linda McMahon, and their 2 children have plenty of money to go around. But that wasn't always the case. In 1976, when Vince worked for his father's business, Capital Wrestling Corporation, he and Linda filed for bankruptcy after racking up $1 million in debt. The bankruptcy became public in 2010 when Linda was running for U.S. Senate, and the Connecticut Post broke the story. Linda was pregnant with Stephanie at the time, and they were caring for their son Shane, who was born in 1970. To make ends meet, they had to briefly resort to using food stamps, a program she defended during her 2 Senate campaigns. During her second run in 2012, she told the Connecticut Post, "I can tell you in today's economy, with so many people out of work, I would not support cuts to our food and nutrition programs." The McMahons' financial troubles arose after a miscalculated investment in the stunt performer Evel Knievel. They have since used the bankruptcy to promote their brand. Linda promoted their self-made story to advance her unsuccessful campaigns and continued to for years after. She said on Facebook Live in 2017, shortly after she was appointed head of the Small Business Administration by then-President Donald Trump, "It was tough, but you know, it's not how you fall, but how you get up."
all of those things are, they really, give you good life experiences.
Vince McMahon has no issues admitting he cheated on his wife throughout the years. He told Playboy in 2001, "I never ever threw anything in her face. I was discreet." But it seems he didn't do a very good job of keeping his affairs secret. Even his kids knew about them, and they still caused quite a bit of damage to his family. Stephanie McMahon was in plenty of fights with her father over the subject, but she eventually got used to it. What bothered her for years on end was his insistence on talking about his affairs in interviews. But that stopped bothering her at some point, too. She told Howard Stern in 2002,
"It still is a little like, Dad, okay, everybody knows now. You don't have to rub it in."
Vince also took pride in being honest about his affairs when Linda confronted him about it. He said, "One day she asked me point blank, 'You are having an affair with so-and-so,' and I've never lied to her. Yes, it crushed her." Vince's romantic storylines with a series of women in WWE, including Candice Michelle, Tori Wilson, Trish Stratus, and Sable, led many to wonder if he was sleeping with them outside the ring. The Wall Street Journal reported in June 2022 that earlier that year, WWE had opened an investigation into its then-chairman for allegedly paying $3 million to a former employee to keep quiet about an affair. The investigation also brought to light settlements Vince was said to have paid out to other employees. Vince announced his retirement soon after, but returned to the company to oversee a merger with UFC. In January 2024, former WWE employee Janelle Grant filed a lawsuit against Vince, former WWE executive John Laurinaitis, and WWE itself, alleging sex trafficking and abuse. Some reports characterized the probe into Vince as the last straw for Linda. A source told the National Enquirer, "Linda has put up with too much for too long. This is just the latest of Vince's many indiscretions, but now she has to bear the humiliation of the world knowing her husband is allegedly paying off the women he beds." That said, Linda and Vince had reportedly been living separately for quite some time, according to former WWE head writer Vince Russo.
I don't know the timing, okay? Bro, Vince McMahon was not living with Linda for decades.
According to Radar, Linda is said to have considered seeking a divorce, though she hasn't filed papers as of the making of this video. If you or anyone you know has been a victim of sexual assault, help is available. Visit the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network website or contact RAIN's National Helpline at 1-800-656-HOPE-4673.